Okay, so the question was, and I'll come back, don't worry. Animals like people live in communities. Make a list of different jobs that are done by people in your community that keep the community running. Keep in mind that some people may have more than one function in a community. So you guys told me. You can still type. Construction, waste, road building, police, teacher, garbage disposal, sugar beet, factory workers, zookeeper, miner, clerk, firefighter, leadership, McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, Arby's, B-Dubs, and Mr. Hot Dog, ew, mayor, governor, trash people, doctors, firefighters, people, electricians, farmers, police officers, firemen, doctors, nurses, mailmen. You've got it. Lots of different jobs, right? So today we're going to be looking at the different jobs in an ecosystem and how our different populations within our community fill those jobs. So we'll look at the predator-prey interactions that influence both predators and prey, and we'll talk about two other types of interactions in a community. It's called symbiosis. Now, one of the most common interactions in communities is that between predators and their prey. Last week, you guys did an activity where you were capturing an animal, and it might have been a predator and it might have been a prey. It might not have been either. Usually, something is either a predator or a prey, though. Now, species that involve predator or prey or parasite-host relationships often develop adaptations in response to one another. If a coyote could always catch the rabbit and was faster than a rabbit, would there be any rabbits left? No. So the prey is inherently usually faster than the predator. So back and forth evolutionary adjustment between two species that interact is what is called coevolution. So when two things evolve together to kind of fit each other perfectly, we call that because it's together in evolution because they're changing to adapt to one another. Predator and prey would be an example of this. Orchids would be another good example of that. How about you guys give me a few? What are some other examples of coevolution? See what you guys come up with. Just think about being out in the world. And what are some examples of coevolution? Okay, that's pretty general. Try to be more specific if you can. Like name the actual organism, like hummingbird and tulip flowers, or not tulip. What are those things called? Honeysuckles. Camouflage. Okay, I don't get that. Let's not joke. Let's try to come up with an actual bees and flowers. There you go. Come up with a real one. Leaf and cat. Ooh, I like leaf and cat. It makes me think of the milkweed, right? Fish are friends, not food. Says Dory. Lions and antelopes. Yeah, there you go. I've never ate a student. Well, I haven't been caught yet anyway, right? Shrimp and whales. Oh, krill, yeah. Tulip and bee, bees and flowers. Okay, so lots of good. I like the leaf and the caterpillar. It makes me think of the monarch butterfly and the milkweed. Milkweed's toxic to like every other insect except for the monarch, right? And so they've co-evolved with the milkweed to be the only organism that can actually eat them, but they also help pollinate them, so it's like a kind of a mutually beneficial thing. So in parasitism, one organism feeds on another organism, and we call that organism that is feeding on a host. Now the host is almost always larger than the parasite and is usually harmed but not killed. And parasites often live on or in their host, therefore the parasite depends on its host, not only for food but for a place to live as well. So why doesn't a parasite like to kill its host? Loses its food source. I like that. Loses its place to live. Loses its shelter, its food. Yeah, like why would I want to have to go find a new host? I wouldn't want to kill my host. So it makes me think of like a tapeworm. You guys know what a tapeworm is? In the 50s, they used to sell these diet pills. You know what was in them? It was the egg of a tapeworm, and these women they'd eat the pill, and then they basically give themselves a parasite. And then that tapeworm, when it got so big that they could like feel it in there, because a tapeworm will like live in your stomach, your intestines. It will eat your dinner, which is, I guess, good if you, not for me, but if you want to eat a lot and like not gain weight, you could have this like meter-long tapeworm living in your stomach, about the size of your pinky finger in diameter. You know, a big old thing climbing through your colon, and yeah, who doesn't want that, right? But anyway, once they could start to feel this thing moving around inside of them, they would go take the other pill, which killed it, and then they would get rid of it the only way the body knows how. There's another way to get rid of tapeworms. It's really gross. You got to coax them out. I won't tell you which end and how that works. Yeah, right? Okay, so I want you to have a good visual representation of a parasite-host relationship. So we don't, now in America they don't sell that pill anymore. The FDA has deemed that unhealthy, I guess. And you can still order it off the internet, though. Oh yeah, I checked. And you can still buy them. In Europe, it's still a common thing. But right? Yeah. So they don't want to kill their host. Now, the hosts try to keep parasites from infecting them. Hosts can defend themselves with their immune systems or behaviors like scratching. So that makes you think of a dog, right? What? Yeah, I can do that. So, in response, parasites may evolve ways to overcome the host's defense. Think about a leech. Think about a leech. What has a leech done to overcome other things that animals do to get rid of them? Just think of something. What does a leech do? You may or may not know this. It's kind of one of those things you might have picked up along the way. They do a few things, a couple things actually. Anybody ever had a leech? I get them all the time. No? I get like 2 or 3 leeches every summer. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's part of what we're going to talk about. It doesn't hurt at all. So they stick the thing, right? They latch on. They don't let go, right? They've got suckers and little teeth that just climb into you and burrow into your skin and flesh. Ooh, I like this one. They inject an anticoagulant, right, that prevents your blood from clotting so that it keeps flowing, like vampires. And they also inject you with something before they really do that. It's a numbing. You don't even feel it. Yeah, that's the other thing. So you can put salt on them, they shrivel up, or you can, a lot of people, if there's someone who smokes nearby, if you put nicotine on them, or you can burn them and they'll back out sometimes. But they don't like bury themselves in you. That's the myth. They just kind of latch on and suck on you. It's not a tick. What? No. I mean, afterwards you have a little sore there, but not during. They have I get them from a lake I fish a lot. It's called Clear Lake, and they're just there. So a lot of times I'll be like kayaking around the lake or something, and you don't even notice it when they get in your canoe. Sometimes they'll climb up your paddle or something, and you'll like, I got a leech, and you throw them off. So you don't notice it till you see it. I'm telling you right now. My daughters came out of the lake one time. They had them all over them. I was like, oh my gosh, you got to pull them off, check everywhere. Yeah. Well, they just keep drinking. They get fat, and they'll eventually get full. Yeah. So there's only certain leeches that are bad, that can give you disease. So herbivores are animals that eat plants. We know that. Now, unlike predators, herbivores do not often kill the plants, but plants do try to defend themselves, right? We don't think about that too much, but plants sometimes taste really bad. Sometimes they're poisonous. So you don't just go out in the woods and start eating mushrooms, do you? No, you do? Well, you won't do it very long. You can try it for a few times. Eventually, you're going to die. So plants defend themselves from herbivores with thorns and spines or with bad-tasting chemical compounds, and these chemical compounds may even cause sickness or death. What? No? Now, some herbivores have evolved ways to overcome plant defenses, like we talked about one already. The monarch butterfly can eat milkweed. Milkweed's toxic to most things that eat it, okay, or would try to eat it. To us, yes. Yes, milkweed for sure. Like an old remedy for warts is you take the milk from a milkweed plant and you rub it on the wart. I guess it kills it. I haven't tried it, but.
No, like, is it milkweed where you like when you're like pulling up weeds and one breaks and it's got that white stuff?
Yeah. Yep. So there's more than, well, you have to eat a lot of it, right? You have to be making a meal out of it. Yeah, like an insect. So not all interactions between organisms result in a winner and a loser. Sometimes you kind of end up with this neutral ground, and then there's different levels of neutral ground, or symbiosis we call it. But symbiosis is a relationship in which two species that live in close association with each other, and in some forms of symbiosis, a species may benefit from the relationship. So there's going to be three basic types of what is called symbiosis. Okay? The first one is called mutualism. And then there's commensalism. Now, these two sound similar, but you have to pay attention to the subtle differences between these two. Now, in these two, both situations, one species will benefit. But in the other situation, both will. It's called mutualism. Now, in a relationship between two species in which both species benefit, we call that mutualism, because they have a mutualistic beneficial relationship. Now, in commensalism, this is where two species have a relationship in which one species benefits, but the other is neither helped nor harmed. But you got to focus on it cannot be harmed to be commensal. So I have thousands of bacteria living all over me right now. And there's millions, really. There's 400 million different types in my mouth. Are they hurting me? No. Am I helping them? Yeah, they're eating like leftover breakfast and all that stuff. So that would be what type? Would that be mutualistic or would it be commensal? The bacteria in my mouth I'm helping them, but they're not helping me. Well, some of them are, but let's focus on the ones that aren't helping me. That would be commensal, right? Not mutualistic. Now, the reason it's commensal is because it's not hurting me, it's not helping me, but I'm helping them. Okay? So it's commensalistic. So species that involve predator-prey or parasite-host relationships often develop adaptations in response to one another. And mutualism and commensalism are the two types of symbiotic relationships in which one or more or both of the species benefit. Now, who? Kayla, where are you? Where are you at, Kayla? There she is. What do you need her for? Okay. Don't keep her. You need her back. All right. So the one thing that you can't forget about, other than the symbiotic relationships, are the parasite-host relationship. In the parasite-host relationship, there will always be something that's hurt. Okay? So that's like the dead giveaway. Okay. All right. Notes are extremely short today, you guys. We are going to play a couple things, though. It's probably a typo. It's a mistake. Sorry about that. I want to do one thing, So we're going to play some parasite host, you guys, examples. This will be kind of fun. So we're going to play these. I want you in that dead space down below to just label each one as we go. So the first one will be number 1, and so on. We'll see how many we get through here. I'm going to stop recording this, though.